Hello, this is Shay Jackson with Hype Math and Reading. In today's video, we will be reviewing for the 2022 Texas STAAR reading test for fourth graders. We will be going over context clues. This is part 2. Remember, fourth graders, if at first you don't succeed, you're normal. Do you need a math or reading tutor? We offer virtual one-on-one or group tutoring for 2nd to 8th grade students. Parents, you can click the link in the description box to sign up for a free 30-minute consultation. We have our 4th grade math review workbook and also our 4th grade reading review workbook available for purchase in our store. The links will be in the description box so that you can grab yours today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you will be alerted to new videos we upload. So let's review context clues again. Context clues are clues that help readers determine the meaning of an unknown or new words within a story, passage, or text. Ways to find the meaning of the unknown words are the following: looking at pictures, looking for words you know, targeting and focusing on helping words, reading around the word, and also breaking the word into parts. Let's dive in and look at the different types of context clues. The first is definition. With definition, the word is defined in the sentence or a sentence nearby. So our example, the volunteer firefighters work to keep us safe, but they do not get paid. So based on this information, our context clue for volunteer, we understand and we know that that means people who work but do not get paid for it. How do we know that? Because the definition is in the sentence. Next, we have synonyms. These are other words that have similar meanings and are used in the sentence. In our example, we have Zeke knew that the figurine was fragile when he felt all of the light and delicate pieces in his hand. So if you didn't know what fragile meant, using the synonyms, we can tell it's something that can be easily broken or damaged. How? Because it says that the figurine felt light and delicate, okay? Next, we have antonyms. These are other words that have opposite meanings and are used in the sentence. Our example is Malik detests eating raw tomatoes, but he really likes eating ketchup. Isn't that weird? So we can tell based on our sentence that detest could mean hate or something that seems disgusting. How do we know that? Because it says detests eating raw tomatoes, but see, there's our helping word, but he really likes eating ketchup. Likes is the antonym for detest, and based on that, we can determine what detest mean. For inference, the word's definition is not explained. You must look for clues before and after the sentence. So for our example, we have, you do not want to work with Crystal unless you want to hear her talk about herself all the time. She is so arrogant. So in this example, we see that there's really not a definition. Well, there's not really a helping word like we had with the other ones. So what you have to do, and this is what inference means, you have to look around the sentence to gather information to determine what the underlying word means. And so for arrogant, It is someone who brags about themselves and think they are more important than other people. Now, how would I know that? Well, it says that Crystal likes to talk about herself all the time. So that's like bragging. And also, if you're talking about yourself all the time and you don't talk about or have room for anybody else to say anything, that means you believe you're more important than other people. Crystal, that is out of line. All right. Next, we have word parts. There is a clue in part of the unknown word, okay? In our example, we have, I think you are overreacting. So based on the context clues, we can separate overreacting. We have over, that's our prefix, and that's something that you should do, fourth graders. If it's a big word or a huge word, look for the root word and discover what the prefix, which means the word before the root word, or the suffix, which means the word after the root word, to determine what the meaning of the word is. So for overreacting, it is someone who reacts, see, there's our root word, to something more than what they should, because over means like over the top, like Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson can be over the top most of the time. Okay. Next, we have example. In context clues that give an example of the word is in the sentence or nearby sentences. Okay, and in these type of sentences, sometimes they have a helping word. So in our example, we have, I really like the decor, including, there's our helping word, the fancy lights, beautiful paintings, and lovely furniture made the house look stunning. So based on our context clues for decor, we know it means the decorations and furniture in a house. So how do we know that? Well, again, we had our context clue. We saw decor, and then it said including. So that means that the decor includes fancy lights, beautiful paintings, and lovely furniture. Okay. Lastly, we have schema. This is background information the reader may have. So for our sample sentence, it's a device such as a cell phone or tablet can be expensive. Now, you may not know what device means, but you're familiar with a cell phone and also a tablet. Well, those are types of electronic equipment, right? So device could be a type of electronic equipment. And those are our types of context clues. Let's dive into some passages so that we can practice those context clues muscles so that we can get better and be great. Our first sentence is an excerpt from Tiny Libraries with Big Stories. Whack, whack, whack. The hammer pounds another nail into the wood. The box is almost finished. Whack, whack, whack. The hammer drives in the last nail. A roof is attached to the four sides. The box is then attached to a pole in the ground. Soon, the finished wood box will be filled with books. Visitors will borrow books and donate new ones. This box of books works a bit like an ordinary library with one major difference. It is tiny. Okay, so this is our passage for Tiny Libraries from Big Stories. Cute picture. Have you ever seen one of those in your neighborhoods? We have one in mine, and I love to see them because, again, you can look to see what books are able to be donated, and also you can grab a book of your own as well. So we are looking for the word drive. So let's go back to our passage. And you see, whenever you see a reading passage and a word is underlined, more than likely you will have a question that's going to ask you, what does that word mean, or some type of question that deals with the underlined word, okay? So here is our question. Read the dictionary entry for the word drive. Which definition best matches the way drives is used in paragraph 1? A, definition 1, B, definition 2, C, definition 3, or D, definition 4. So let's look at our dictionary entry for drive. First of all, we see drive. It's a verb. Our first definition says to take to another place by car. That's like when someone drives you somewhere. Definition 2, to guide the movement of. Definition 3, to force to go through. Definition 4, to throw hard or fast. So our hint, and listen, this shows how Miss Jackson can overreact, because personally I like saying whack, whack, whack. So whack, whack, whack. The hammer pounds another nail into the wood. The box is almost finished. Whack, whack, whack. The hammer drives in the last nail. So what we need to focus on is the hammer drives in the last nail. So is that driving in, the hammer driving in the nail, is that similar to someone taking to take to another place by car? No. What about to guide the movement of? Possibly it could be, but one key thing, fourth graders, that you have to think about is, because sometimes there are things, maybe more than one answer that could seem to be right, but key in on the best match. So the absolutely best definition is what we want, not something that could be it, but for sure is it, okay? Definition 3, to force to go through. So think about, and this is how you could use schema 2. Have you ever seen someone use a hammer to drive in a nail? What are they doing? They're forcing it to go through something. Yes. And looking at the last definition, to throw hard or fast. Well, no, we're not throwing anything. So based on our context clues, and you see how I use schema, because I thought about, well, have I ever saw someone hammer in a nail? And what is that doing? Whenever, like, for instance, you see someone hammering in a nail into a board, they're forcing the nail to go through. That's why they're whacking the nail, okay? So our correct answer choice is C, definition 3. Good job. Let's move to our next passage. This excerpt is from Fruit for All. To make Fruit for All successful, Zach needed eager volunteers and trees loaded with fruit. Zach asked community members to call or contact him online and let him know whether they had trees with extra fruit. Initially, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute the fruit on their trees. But as news of Zach's idea spread, people contacted him. Soon, Fruit for All was really growing. Okay, so in paragraph 2, the word initially means A, at first, B, carefully, C, always, or D, without help. Okay, and for our hint, we have initially, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute the fruit on their trees. So in this instance, what we could do, if we don't really know what initially means, we can substitute in our words or our answer choices to see which one makes sense. Let's start with A. At first, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute the fruit on their trees. Okay, A sounded pretty good. Let's look at B. Carefully, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute the fruit on their trees. No, that doesn't sound right. Let's look at C. Always, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute. No, that doesn't sound right either. And then let's look at D. Without help, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute the fruit on their trees. Well, no, without help wouldn't be it, because we know that in the passage it said that Zach did have volunteers. So what's our correct answer? It is A, at first. Initially is the same as at first. At first, it was difficult to find people who were willing to contribute the fruit on their trees. And that is it for our context clues review part 2. Remember, if you need a tutor, there will be a link in the description box, and also we have our 4th grade math and reading review workbooks available for purchase in our store. This is Shay Jackson with Hype Math and Reading. I will talk to you later.